know poetry dropping when the pen clicks, and poets get up popping with the pen click. You're now rocking with Kuya David, the pen click prime minister, out here with my brother Daniel Hees, the chubby fat god. And today, all the way from the East Coast, Beast Coast, upstate New York, we got the freestyle poet, Soul Stuf himself, Christian Perfas. Let's get it.
I've spent the last lifetime performing what I think love looks like. Playing perfect like a broken record, feeling like a broken record every time the music stopped again. Every time the line would change, I'd find myself a new partner, thinking I'd finally figured it out. Until I'd step on her toes, or she'd trip on my nerves, and I'd think, maybe I'm just not the dancing type. Maybe this just isn't meant for me. But when it seemed like self-doubt would finally start to plan a sit-down, I swear I could hear you. In the back of my head, in the thick of my daydreams, I swear I could hear you calling my name, asking me to keep on my light, spelling out love, H-O-P-E. To the woman I wrote this for, the woman I write all my love poems about, the woman I have yet to meet but hope to marry. I can only guess what and how you will look like. But I know how I know it will be you. I know that every time you open your mouth, every sound that comes out will be poetry. Even the yawns, coughs, laughs, burps, especially the burps. I know that your smile will be as unadulterated sunshine, with honeycomb breath and desire whispered from your lips. Lips so dangerous, they're not even legal in 17 states. Know that you'll have me turning like turnstiles at rush hour. Have me sweating lakes, dropping every other vowel. Yet you never bat an eye, never skip a beat, shrugging off judgment like a mid-morning cold. You help me pick up the pieces of my original intention. This is an open letter to my future better half. You know what? Actually, fuck that. One of the first things you'll teach me is that neither one of us is a half, that we're both whole human beings, planted full packages right from the start, that we're not trophies and castle tops, don't complete each other in a codependent puzzle. Nah, you'll be the first to stop the swiping, unafraid to play by your own rules, because damn, are we both tired of playing games. Still, you will not be a perfect person. Admittedly, a work in progress coming with your own baggage. But hell, how else would I know that you've traveled? Who am I to define the shape of beautiful? Don't we all have our own demons that we need to unpack? Don't we redefine love as we learn to love back? When will enough be enough? When we stop pretending we need to be anything else? To my future partner in forever, I don't know what size or skin tone you'll be, but I know your eye color will be thoughtful and your hands will fit perfectly into mine. I know you'll be familiar with the taste of otherness and fluent in heart-to-heart hugs. And I know you might not be expecting me yet. You might still be learning the words to your own heart song. But I've waited a few hundred heartbeats for us to meet. I could wait a few more.
Hey, let's go. Christian Perfas in the cuts.
Hitting us with that like ASMR, like pretty boy romantic stuff.
Hey,
like, bro, it's
hey,
on now.
Hey.
Romantic stuff.
I just fell in love a little.
I was like, oh, coming all hype, and it's like, oh, let me go.
Let me talk to you, girl.
You've now reached the adult hotline.
Hey.
Please dial 1-800-PEN.
Hey.
Just trying to get on that Phil K vibe.
Let's go, let's go. Well, welcome to the pen.
Thanks for having me so much.
Yeah,
It's been fun.
Yeah, bless.
So nice to be out here. All the way out. This is undisclosed. Is this like an undisclosed oasis?
Yeah, bro, it's a secret.
Where it's secret spot? Yo, it's far. It's far inside.
Hey, run up and get done up, bro. It's like, come on, don't even.
Well, we're happy to have you here. We're excited. Let's jump into this with the first part of the show. Threads and lines.
Yes, sir.
This is all first verse. All first verse. You about to get this work.
The first thing though that I really found in this poem, and I think it's a common thing that a lot of us, really all of us that decide to date or not be asexual really deal with, is that struggle of, am I doing something wrong, or why is it not working out? Why do I have this idea in my head of what love should be, and why is everything falling short of that? And we see you do that and kind of express that frustration in the second stanza. But you said, thinking I'd finally figured it out until I'd step on her toes or she'd trip. And what really hit me is I'd think maybe I'm just not the dancing type. Maybe this just isn't meant for me. So what I feel like and what I'm seeing is that idea of like the bubbles burst. What I was raised thinking love isn't really true. Is that a fair assessment of what we see going on here?
Yeah, I personally feel like, you know, I feel like my brand, or just myself, has just been like growing up like kind of socially awkward, and I feel like I've leaned into it, and poetry for me has been such a release or such a therapy, because I feel like it's allowed me to be that quirky self, and sort of find a way to express that authentically and honestly, and find an audience that vibes with it. So I like the whole dance analogy, because dance too, especially like when you're like, you know, like middle school, you know, 17 years old, your first prom, whatever, trying to figure out how to dance with a woman or a man or whoever, trying to dance with another human. There's such that weird like to and fro, and I thought it was the perfect way to like visualize what it feels like, you know, to be on that kind of awkwardness. And I felt like, you know, Hollywood or television or the industry sort of like romanticizes the ideal relationship. Like, boom, when you find it, it's perfect. You see them in the airport, you match eyes, you know, you don't go worry about the TSA. And
you don't step on their toes.
You don't step on their toes. Yeah, and it works out. But I feel like, yeah, like because I never was getting that in my life, I felt like, oh, like I'm not like the movie role. This isn't the romance movie that I thought it would be. I'm not meant to be in a relationship.
And yeah, that's something that like a lot of us end up doing with that, is we struggle through it, and we're told that it's supposed to work out in this way, or it's supposed to look like this, or feel like this
in media and all that.
Yeah, and in every, like you said, every facet of media, like you're getting hit with
Disney
like
films. When you're a little kid, they indoctrinate you into that
Prince Charming. You need to like a man to be whole and all of that shit. And then, but even then, like it moves on to like teen dramas and like Pretty in Pink and shit, and like all of these
sitcoms.
Yeah, sitcoms are a big one, and it's setting you up essentially to fail, because what ultimately happens is like you internalize that in yourself. What is wrong with me?
Right.
Because love is this thing that's out there and grand and beautiful and perfect.
And you're constantly comparing like your life to what you've seen and what you were raised on.
Yeah, yeah. And eventually that bubble gets burst, and like you kind of like literally pop the bubble in the poem. Like, damn, bro, this is a lot harder than it's gonna be, and you're not going to be the perfect thing, you know?
When did you write this poem?
Word. So actually it was right after a relationship. It would have been like the only relationship up to that point where I felt like a really intense feelings, like, oh, like this is it, like this is the one for me, like this is the final relationship I ever need to be in. And this was actually a couple years ago, around Halloween was the time of year, and it actually didn't work out. And I wrote this pretty shortly after. I want to say in December. I was back in New York.
So because it's like 2 years ago, and you've kept on performing this piece.
Yeah, a lot.
What did this piece mean to you, like the time you wrote it, and what does it mean to you now as you performed it many times over the years?
Well, at the time, I think I was just going through a lot of self-guilt, huge guilt vibes, a little bit of self-hate, but mostly self-guilt. And so I think I wrote this.
Why self-guilt?
Well, self-guilt because like there was like this age discrepancy in the relationship. Like she was 4 or 5 years younger than me, and there's a lot of pressure on me to be like, okay, like this is her first real relationship. Like I gotta do everything. Like not. And I wasn't saying like in a bad or like like this is such a chore, but like, oh no, it's on me. Like the impetus is on me to be.
You know better.
To be the
grown man, you know better.
Yeah, I've had the experience, and I need to be patient. All this stuff, all this pressure, and so I felt like I let her down. I let me down. I let both of us down. I failed. You know, and that whole Asian American mentality thing. Like I failed the relationship.
And again, why isn't this working for me?
It's also very empathetic of you too. It's like, shout out to that, bro.
Oh, thank you.
Hey.
But this was part of my process as I was figuring out like what I needed to do to like self-heal and self-love. And I mean, after that, I didn't date for like a year and a half, but at the time I was writing it as like therapy, and like kind of like taking all the lessons I'd learned in the relationship and finding a way to like channel that into like a future relationship that would be as good, if not better.
So it sounds like in that relationship was like the first time you really experienced that real love, that deep love.
Right, because like I think a big part of this is like, you know, I jumped into relationships pretty fast, like 1, 2, 3 in college, and just been like, yeah, like this is great. And I think it's really easy to mix up or confuse physical attraction to like real romantic feelings.
Yeah, especially when you're young, dude.
Yeah, and you're like, oh man, it's my first relationship. I didn't really,
feelings, I'm gassed up, let's go.
I didn't date anyone till college, so I thought that honeymoon phase, like that's what love was, you know. And I didn't shy away from the like.
I can't imagine that, like of all your experiences being just the honeymoon phase, and then like cut it off right after. Yeah. Oh, that's wild, bro. Never even thought about that. God.
Yeah. So this one, I mean, this one was also fairly short, but it was so different because like, I think for me, like the feeling was different. I also totally like, there's so much in there about like losing myself in the relationship, but
codependency, you mentioned that later, like dealing with that and wrestling with that.
Dealing with like, you know, only finding validation or value through what you do as a boyfriend or as a partner. But this was the one situation where I've been like, dating had always been like kind of, oh, date for now, and then I'll date again later. Like this isn't the end all be all, but this is the first time I'd ever been in a situation where I'm like, oh, like I would be really happy if this was it for the rest of my life. So, I think "remember why you wrote it" is such a big catchphrase and like slams, you know. And I think that holds true.
But it's real, dog. That shit's real.
Yeah, it's for real. Yeah. It's for real. And I think now the context has just shifted to me reminding myself or affirming, you know, what I've been through and what I'm looking for, and to like not fall into the same traps.
It's motivation for yourself.
Yeah, motivation to like
almost like a mantra, right?
Yeah, like a prayer poem, you know.
Yeah, word.
And it's dope because like you were able to like, because as you express, like this is like that real love, and you know that it exists. You know that it's out there. You felt it. You know it's true, and then by the end of the poem, it sounds like you're opening your heart. It's like, all right, like I know this exists, and I want that again.
Yeah, and that responsibility too, like that's lit. Like that's a dope thing that our generation's doing. Like I am a man and I do know better, and I do need to set these standards for myself and remain hopeful and focused on being that. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Love healing. What's up?
What's up, love
Man
healing?
up, y'all.
Hashtag love.
Yeah, I just want to imagine that
Hashtag
like 3 months after your breakup, and you're like, the way you perform this is like wildly different from how you get your sexy voice on and performing it now. It's like at the time maybe like, and then we're not trophies, we're in castle tops, and now you're like, hey baby, you know what?
I'm not trying to. It's not like a come on, I guess, but I just feel like,
oh, it can be though, dog. Thirst poetry, thirst traps out here,
hey,
bro.
Pretty boy Perfas, you know, we know what it is, bro. Come on,
what's up? Hey, did she ever see you perform this?
No.
Did she ever see you perform?
We've never. I've written many poems about her, and she's never seen any of them.
Damn. All right.
She might now. You know what it is. Follow us at PenClique on YouTube, on Instagram at PenClique. You know what it is.
Hey. Well, moving on.
Yeah.
Off with threads and lines.
Into the two-piece combo.
Oh, two-piece combo.
Two-piece combo! The two-piece combo is where we review 2 pieces of poetry from the internet, one off of YouTube and another off of Instagram. The first piece that comes up off of #poetry. And for today's YouTube piece is Mic Ting from the Right About Now YouTube page with his poem, Coded Language, off of the Slam Mania 2019.
Mic Ting, I love your poems. They're so different, you know? Don't get me wrong, those other poets were amazing, but they just keep talking about stuff that happened way back then, and your story is just so new. This oriental struggle of yours is something I can totally get over. I mean, behind it just...
Hey, bro, and like... off rip, like you don't know what he's doing, right? So it sounds like a performance flub up, like, oh shit, did he just fuck up? But no.
Well, I'm like, again,
No.
you hear the first crowd pop. It's like, okay, let's go. It's like,
Yeah.
you're already here, like, all right, I see what we're about to get into.
Yeah.
It's dope. It's like very eloquent in like, you get it, like what he's about to do.
Yeah.
Like
I've
a
seen
bar.
Mike live. I saw him for the first time at iWhips, and he's such a great performer in that, like, he has this like style that's so immediately charismatic, and like with all of the like sort of additions, the flourishes, the voice and everything is so, it doesn't look like over rehearsed or anything. It's so natural, but everything is like so spot on, and I think the whole thing just
hella rehearsed.
pops.
Happened way back then, and your story is just so new. This oriental struggle of yours is something I can totally get over. I mean, behind it just fits softer in my mouth, you know? Like my gums don't swell with guilt when I say your name, and your name, Mike, M-I-C.
So like, in a sense, I'm just trying to like process that one. Guilt when I say your name, as in like people, like victims of hate crimes, like POCs.
Word.
That's what I'm thinking of. Is that where it came from?
Well, I was also
that.
thinking of like how like white folks like tend to fuck up like names that are not part of the Anglo-Saxon like lexicon.
Okay.
And then feel guilty.
Yeah.
But they messed it up for sure.
Yeah.
Like a microphone, so clever. I too love taking a person's name and turning it into an inanimate object. Like when I call my black friend dog, but all the dogs ever had are dead, so I think the analogy still works, but you would know better than me, you poet, whipping up your stories.
How you poet
I
is like
love that.
Yeah, it's
that.
like the shade, but if you just read the text, see that's the thing about stage poetry
Yeah,
versus
totally.
page poetry, right?
Oh, word.
Like,
You can never convey that on a page.
You have to make
like
it italicized.
Italicized or quotes, but you don't get the
that
feel.
Bro.
Yeah.
When I call my black friend dog, but all the dogs ever had are dead, so I think the analogy still works, but you would know better than me, you poet, whipping up your story into something I consume without the burden of shame sitting like a knife in my stomach. More poets should model their work after yours, personally. I just love how you've taken your hardships and packaged them into these cute little poetic devices. And you're Asian, so it's not like you've really gone through anything that challenging.
Head flip.
You and I are here for the same reason. For the performance. To be seen for sight's sake. And while we're on the topic of creative...
so
that one's...
For the people who did not see this video, by the way, go watch it right about now, YouTube page. When he talks about seen, unsight, spoken, like he pulled back his eyes, kind of like how white folks make fun of Asian eyes by pulling them back.
Word.
And again, page poetry versus stage poetry, man. It's like you don't get that part of the
But also
experience.
like thinking about that line resonates with me too, like seen for sight's sake. Like the fact that like you as like an Asian American aren't necessarily like seen for a cause or seen for a moment. You're just seen to be seen. I think that resonates with me a lot. Like,
but for the person speaking, it sounds more like a virtue flex.
You and I are here for the same reason. For the performance. To be seen for sight's sake. And while we're on the topic of creative expression, you'll agree with me here. I just think that there's a white way and a wrong way. Sorry, a right way and a wrong way. Sorry, I'm doing this. Look.
Come on.
You also know like that old reference to Abercrombie. They did like a graphic T-shirt that says White and Wong laundry service with like caricaturized like Chinese folks like doing laundry and shit. So like White and Wong Way, it's like maybe that was a reference to that. Like it was like 2000s.
That's some deep cut shit.
Yeah. Yo, bro.
His just wordplay game is fire. It's insane.
Facts.
We're on the
so
topic of creative expression. You'll agree with me here. I just think that there's a white way and a wrong way. Sorry, a right way and a wrong way. Sorry, I'm doing this. Look. Between you and me, I'm just tired of being unsettled by things I'm not really responsible for, you know? And if I'm going to be the target, I just want to be entertained, okay? I think I'm entitled to a good show, for starters.
Love that pause. Love that pause, bro.
I think I'm entitled to good. Yeah. And you know what? But that's one of those things that like does translate from page to stage, because that would have been like a line break.
Yeah, that would have been on paper. I would have read that and had the same reaction. Like, damn, let's go.
His cadence is just so good at like stringing it together. When he like does the like very precise pause, and then he'll go into the flow is just so easy to follow, but so good.
And he's syllabically tight. Like you see a lot of performers that are line by line tight, and you're like, damn, I'm one of those performers either. Like even like this shit sounds good, and then this part sounds good, but he's like every fucking word is
tight,
right there, and with intent, and there's purpose to it.
Not a wasted word.
I'm not really responsible for, you know, and if I'm going to be the target, I just want to be entertained, okay? I think I'm entitled to a good show, for starters.
So good.
Can we please stop blaming all of us for the rise of white supremacy?
Bruh, one of like the most important fucking things that needs to be said right now. Can you stop blaming all of us? Like, motherfucker, what are you talking about? You just did it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem, is you are the collective, and you don't get to separate. And just you don't get to separate.
Watch his like movements too. Like when you notice like the head twirl, like this. He's so good at like none of it seems like it's like robotic. It's all like just to emphasize. Again, it's the stage thing.
It's almost acting, and it's conveying amazing. Like the passive aggressive experience that he has to fucking live with. The point of it, like you're gonna get hit with all of this hate right now, and I'm gonna do it in a way that you can't be mad at.
See, he's poetic.
Giving you that.
He's poetic with the language and the body language. Poetic with the body language. Let's go, Mike.
Come on, Mike.
For Hillary, okay, and she's not a supremacist, or can we cool it with the incessant reminders of this country's history of racial injustice? Like, Where's the poetry in that? Instead, how about a beautiful metaphor and how you turned your 2-cent tragedy into $1 million perspective, or one of those nice list poems of all the ways you're actually going to better yourself. I just want to hear how you overcame, not who or what or where you came from. Listen.
Damn, and that's like an important point, just socially, really quick. Like that idea of like, yeah, we want to hear about like you being dope and embracing fucking and self-empowerment and shit, but we don't want to hear about like where that comes from. We don't want to hear about the non-white parts of your history or your culture or what you've drawn from. Like, no, if you want to be an American and go be great, we recognize that and we understand.
We want to see the cool, the shiny, nice, polished parts of it.
Yeah, but don't you dare do it in your indigenous language. Don't you dare do it like your grandma did it. You know what I'm saying?
Also, like just like that reflective wordplay of like overcame, came from. It's like, okay,
yeah, boom, boom,
real hit, like a real slap, but real effective.
So good.
This is like this is like the Voltron, bro. This is every fucking part.
We get it. The colored child died, will die, is dying 1,000 deaths, but that's not my fault. I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't conquer this land. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me for judging.
Ooh.
You asked me to. Remember? Don't place the knife and cutting board in my hands and expect me not to make a meal out of this. And what is a poetry slam if not a feast for those of us hungry for the scraps your trauma left behind? So thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike, for offering up this pain that's so much easier to swallow. I hope you wear this 10 like a collar. I mean a halo. You're a good boy. I mean poet. You'll pass along my suggestions to your friends, won't you? I'm too scared, shy, to tell them myself.
Let's fucking go.
Right, and then like that ending, that landing pad is so dope. One of Rudy Francisco's best advice is like, when I asked him about slam when I met him, was like, you know, focus on the landing pad. That landing pad was so dope because I also feel like brings it back to like, oh, they're talking to Mike, like Mike is the safe choice. It's like, oh, I don't want to talk to your other, you know, POC friends, your other Chicano or black friends, because I'd be scared.
I'm scared of them.
But you're so safe and normal. Like, I can talk to you because you're Asian. I'm like, bruh, that hits me so hard.
And that last bit too about like being hungry for like the scraps that your trauma left behind, that like, ooh, to like weaponize that, like the double meaning there, you know what I'm saying?
Triple
like,
entendre, bro.
Yeah, like we are doing that, like as traumatized people, as you're going to other places, it's almost like a support group sometimes.
But also
you know what I'm saying?
Going to
like I'm
going to
hear their trauma and I'm going to survive because I know that there are others traumatized, but there are other people there that are just like trying to identify with something or trying to be a part of something or trying to be seen there and shit like that. And it's
but
like,
also going there for the slam and for the entertainment. It's like oh, this is for you. Like this is a tasty meal for you. Because
so good.
So
and this is life for some motherfuckers,
bro. Come on, let's go, Mic
Ting. He's number one for a reason, y'all. He's number one.
Facts. I whips champ. All right. So with that being said, on two-piece combo, we do review and rate and score every piece like it is at a slam out of 10. And Mr. Christian, as our guest, what would you give this piece out of 10?
8.
I almost feel biased because I know Mike, because it's like, you know, you're not allowed to,
so
you're not allowed to judge.
So you're already be disqualified. So for those that don't know, 10 off rip, of course. For those that don't know, if you know one of the poets,
if you're at a slam in building, right, in the building, and you know one of the performing poets and you judge, they will get disqualified. They will get
disqualified, yeah. But that being
said, about to disqualify
Mike is about to get disqualified.
From the pen click shit, but that's all right.
Sorry, but for even if it matters or if it counts at all, 10 still 10 for me.
10
yeah
word. I'm gonna like this has like every component it's still poetry, right? One of my big complaints with performance poetry is it often leans more into performance than poetry. It stops being performance and starts being a monologue, or at best prose. At best,
or rhythmic essay.
Yeah, exactly.
Acapella rap.
Oh god. Fuck out of here with your struggle mixtape bars. Use that shit to dump my ashes on, bro. Fuck out of here. Nobody even uses CDs. Got bust out my PS3 just to play this shit.
But he's not doing that, right? Like he is definitely poetic. Yes. At one point, he makes this point about being a poet and does it so fucking poetically that you're like, damn like the concept concept is just constantly being built upon and built upon and built upon from the fucking jump. I don't think there is any other score to give this but a 10. Like, facts. Like, there is nothing in building at any slam, at any round in the slam. That's a 10. No matter fucking what. And he's not saying what he's doing, like, with the piece and the experience, right, is flipping it on the people. He's not.
It's clever.
He's not doing an aggressive fuck you. Like, he's doing a this is what I live with and this is how it is. And he's doing that as well as making very important fucking points and not just super feels like inducing points. He's saying
not pandering either. It's
exactly.
It's very real.
He's saying real important shit, and he's almost making the points that need to be made, not just like the emotional hits. You know, sometimes you'll hear people say shit and you're like, oh, that was an emotional hit. Not to discount that, like, or the therapy in saying those words out loud, but he's really making a fucking point. This is calculated, the syllabically calculated performance. I love seeing things that you see people do and it looks so natural and perfect and flawless because they did it a million billion times. You know what I'm saying? Because they put in the real work to make this look flawless, and he did. That's a 10
from you.
That's a 10, dog, all the way.
Facts. 10. That has to be a 10. It's everything that I love. You know, it's like the wordplay, from the performance to his cadence, like everything, full package. It performs well and gives you things that a performance would that reading it alone wouldn't. And he's really exploiting that part. Like, he's exploring the body language. He's poetic with the body language, bro. Mic Ting, I Whips champ. We see you. 10.
And still poetic, dog. And I think like one really just quick last point is this performance has raised the bar for performance poetry. This has pushed the genre forward. I'm going to hear this in my head and see this in my head when I go to slams now, which means that your shit got to be on point, dog, because this is out there. Did you know this is out there? Do you know people doing this, bro? That's fire.
For sure.
Let's go.
So that was the first piece of the two-piece combo. So for the second part of the two-piece combo, we review a piece of poetry off of Instagram, the first piece to come up under #poetry. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not even a poem. So please, if we're gonna review something, it has to be an actual poem, not just like a pretty sunset, like, wow, this sunset is poetry. Nah, fuck out of here.
Word.
Actual poems in English, unfortunately, because that's all we speak here, but whatever. All right, so our piece that comes up is by ArchWealth_Gates. And
Archwealth
for sure.
_Gates. Word.
Yeah. So, Mr. Christian, if you would do us the honor of reading ArchWealth_Gates' poem.
I would be honored. He so in love with melancholy that he wishes never to smile again.
Ooh.
Wait, one more time.
Sure. He's so in love with melancholy that he wishes never to smile again.
Okay, so like as a cringy suburban
I also try to say
kid,
in love because in love looks like one word in this poem.
It is. It's probably it's a typo. For sure.
And like, not to give it the whatchamacallit, what was that guy from?
All right, hold on. First of all, let's describe what it looks like for our
for our podcast listeners. It looks like half the face from The Crow.
Yeah, it's like a very dark, it's almost pure black with like the white highlights of half of a face.
Yeah.
And on top of it is like some spooky Halloween font with dripping blood.
And
but it's white.
I wasn't trying to do like a William Shatner cadence, but like the words are kind of placed like on top of each other.
Right.
So I was trying to do it like each word gets its own line because that's how it looks like on the Instagram
It's called
photo.
center alignment in design terms. And this is not,
nice.
No, okay, but whatever.
I fucks with this.
You fucks with this?
I fucks with this.
All right, so, but speak your truth, sir.
Speak your truth.
So
that's how you feel?
On some suburban like white boy shit.
Yeah, on some like suburban cringy goth boy shit, like on like I'm gonna sit in my room and listen to Christian Death and think about how everybody in the world is fucking wretched. I fucks with this a little bit. That
bring us into your world.
That said, you got to grow out of that. You know what I'm saying? So 15-year-old Daniel.
Yeah.
If I probably wrote some of these. I probably got some of these. Like 15-year-old Daniel probably got some of these. Also, though, 21-year-old Daniel probably got some poems roasting the one of these that I got. Do you understand?
Okay, gotcha.
So if a 15-year-old wrote this, that's just fucking bumping Bauhaus in his mom's basement and is like, I don't even care, bro. I don't even like Becky. Fuck you, mom. Chemistry's stupid. I fucks with that.
Okay.
So yeah, if that's the case, I'm gonna give this like a fucking a 7.9.
Wow.
A 7.9.
Wow.
But if this is an adult that's been writing poetry for a minute, context is important here. I'm gonna give this like a 4.6.
No, that's
a 4.6.
Yeah, okay. Like they're like a 1 extra credit project away from passing.
Yeah, word. They're
sure.
4.6. It's like, oh, I get you. This isn't a poem, but cool. It's more a poem than a lot of other shit, I guess. So yeah,
sure.
I'm saying 4. We'll give it a 4.7 just to round out the two concepts.
All right. Mr. Christian?
Sure. So there's a point to it. That's cool. Like
Yeah.
there's
There's a point. Cool.
like there's actually like a meaning behind it. I feel like a lot of, when people slam poetry, what I feel like people do when they're bashing it is like poetry is just like dumb or like flowery language that doesn't really have a plot or a point. But I can actually understand there's a meaning behind this line. There's also some like thought put into like how they presented it, the font and the color and everything. I'm taking all that into consideration. That being, I see it.
Art is for the individuals to interpret, sir.
All right.
I see.
Maybe 15-year-old Daniel would disagree with the Met.
I think there's art behind it. I'm just trying to see it for what it is, objectively. I also feel like I'm a little with me and what I see poetry as. I find there needs to be, for me, like a resonance, a truth, or a deeper meaning, rather. Like if you just say a line like something love sunsets, like might be a meaning there, but there might not be anything beyond surface level, and I don't see anything beyond surface level. All this to say, I find it's very middle of the road, so I'd give it a 5 at a slam.
Okay.
I don't want to be mean to it. I don't think
For
it's horrible. I just don't think it's great at all either. So middle
All right.
road, 5.
Okay. Because you don't want to be
To me, this kind
which means a 3. But okay.
So like I appreciate like the little wordplay, like in love with melancholy.
Yeah.
And then wishes to never smile again. It's like that's cute. That's real cute.
It's something.
This is one of those things that like I might have wrote as like a one-liner punchline to incorporate into freestyle and open.
Oh, this kind of is usable freestyle bars, dog.
So it's like oh yeah, off the top, dog. I just came up with that off the top, bro. Off the top. In love with melancholy, never to smile again. Okay.
Damn, bro. You could like. Oh, there's so many versions of that.
It doesn't even
though.
sound cool though. Like there's so many cooler ways to say
you just
that.
gotta
I like
sell
being
it.
sad so much.
Oh
my god.
Like this, I'm all about like we just watched Mic Ting, right? And Mic Ting, his words sound good together. Like there's a way that.
Bro, I'm talking about like drunk ass freestyles at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like yo, I'm on like Funk Master Flex and I'm about to like drop the freestyle of my life.
You gotta raise the bar for your freeze, man.
Or you'll never get the Funk Master Flex.
No, I'm talking about that type of freestyle.
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel you. Like,
So
I'm so in love with melancholy.
Yeah, facts.
I wish I never smiled again.
Ooh, grungy.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's like a Carter Deems bar.
Oh yeah. So that being said, I appreciate that for what it is. Like, damn, like I didn't want to score at this, but yeah, 5.
Word.
I was about to give it like the wild 3 or whatever, but like no, like I could have seen myself like 19-year-old David be like, okay, yeah, like
So it's like we all are in agreement. We've all like written this in our past life.
Oh, for sure.
So shout out to Archwealth_Gates. Maybe you are a 15-year-old kid, but all that being said, yo, shout out to you. Keep honing your craft and keep on writing. So that was the 2-piece combo. If you want to see more, be sure to follow us on YouTube, PenClique, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at PenClique, PenClique. And that being said, we're going to our final segment of the show, the 5 for your eye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
For all y'all, the 5 for your eye is the part of the show where we gave the guest poet this episode, Mr. Christian Perfas, 5 words. He had to bring in a poem, any style, any format, any font, anything really, as long as it's a poem and it uses all 5 words. So we gave him type, band, match, spring, and extract. So again, any kind of poem he wanted to write, he just had to use all of those words. This is what he brought in.
Word. I hope you guys enjoy. I was so in love. The way she made me feel, like my world had changed in an instant. But I'd never been afraid before. Before this match made in the stars, my feelings turned into light. I could barely contain myself. Now, my heart's made a home in my throat, spring in my step, sending me head over heels so everyone can see what kept me rooted. I never want anyone to disrupt this song between me and my immaculate bandmate, my secret escape from reality, disconnect from the mortal realm, a beautiful, beautiful dream. I couldn't move, paralyzed by a bomb beneath that could go off at any moment. I cursed myself for causing this, forever the impulsive type. Too wildfire, too much for one to handle, could only follow my intuition. Perhaps if I'd listened to other sources more, I wouldn't have fucked up. To oblivion as soon as I move a muscle. If I'm decapitated, put my body to burn like I did. Tell loved ones extraction was forfeit. I didn't want to be the cause of pain, so I'll let this destroy me. Pull me to pieces, surrender to a sweet escape from reality, disconnect from the mortal realm, a beautiful, beautiful dream. I was so in love, I couldn't move, paralyzed by the way she made me feel, a bomb beneath that could go off at any moment, like my world had changed in an instant. I cursed myself for causing this, forever the impulsive type, but I'd never been afraid before this match made into wildfire, too much for one to handle. I could only follow the stars, my feelings turned into light. I could barely contain my intuition. Perhaps if I'd listened to other sources more, I wouldn't have fucked myself. Now, my heart's made a home in my throat, spring in my step, sending me up to oblivion as soon as I move a muscle. If I am decapitated, put my head over heels so everyone can see what kept me rooted. I never want anybody to burn like I did. Tell loved ones extraction was forfeit. I didn't want to be the one to disrupt this song between me and my immaculate bandmate, my secret cause of pain. So I'll let this destroy me, pull me to pieces, surrender to a sweet escape from reality, disconnect from the mortal realm, a beautiful, beautiful dream.
Let's go, bro. Do y'all see what he did there? Do y'all see? Run that back if you need to. Go run that back. Go run that back. Homophone game tight, dog. Let's go.
It's called a contrapuntal.
Yeah,
so you have poem, and then you alternate lines between them.
Yeah, it still makes it, dude.
Bruh.
Let's go.
Bruh.
Hell yeah.
Bruh. The match that became wildfire, dog.
Fuck yeah.
The match that became wild, but the match.
So there you go, match.
But the what?
No, like, yeah, like, so when I picked out his words, I made sure that I put the al homophone, so let him play with that, and boom, really like worked with it, bro. Hell yeah.
With structure, with all that.
Thank you.
Bro, thank you for joining us at the Pen Click, bro.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell the people where they can find you.
Word. So you can find me at Soul Stuf. It's probably listed somewhere in the world or in here. On Instagram. I also perform with a performance troupe called The Poetry Brothel. We're an immersive theater troupe that puts on a whole show monthly at El Cid in Silver Lake once a month, usually on Sundays. I also work with the Story Pirates, children's fiction program. You can hit us up. We're based in New York and LA. Or you can find me at most open mics. I usually rep it with Palms Up Academy, hosted by Ariana Basco. Holding it down in Hi-Fi Filipino Town Wednesday nights from 8 to 10. That's my crew, that's my fam, that's my tribe. So,
that's Soul Stuf with one F.
that is Soul Stuf with one F. S-T-U-F. Soul Stuf.
S-O-U-L-S-T-U-F.
Yes, sir.
Get it. Go check them out, y'all. Go peep. Go follow. Out here, dog. Let's go.
Yeah, if you want to follow us, Pen Click, on Instagram, on Facebook, you can follow us at Pen Click, PENCLIQUE. Be sure you subscribe to us on YouTube so you get all the visuals as well as the audio art. You know what it is. You can follow us on Twitter at The Pen Click, THEPENCLIQUE. You know what it is. It's like fucking like shout out to, I actually tweeted at them. I actually tweeted at Pen Click. It's like this like South African, South African independent thing, whatever. Like,
you're not using it.
They have not tweeted since 2007.
Dog.
Give it up.
Get out our lane, please.
Y'all, please just like it'll save you money. Stop unsubscribe from the auto pay for penclick.com and just give it to us. Speaking of which, you can find us on the internet at penclick.net. So be sure to follow us on all things. Subscribe to us and all that shit. Tell all your homies. And Mr. Chubby Fat Guy, where can they get at you?
Hey, you can see everything we're doing over at Chubby Fat, thechubbyfat.com, at thechubbyfat. We doing fire comedy stuff. If you want to giggle and have fun, go over there. Thank y'all. I appreciate you, Kuya.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Christian, Mr. Perfas.
Thank you so much for
Bless
having me.
up.
Where can we find you, Kuya David?
At the Pen Click. You know what it is.
You know what it is.
Hey, Hey.
For the culture.
Yeah, Pen Click Prime Minister, you know what it is? At Pen Click on all channels except Twitter, unless we actually get the fucking username. Get out of here.
Get out of South African Pen Click.
For
Go
sure.
follow this man. Go follow this man right here. We love y'all. Go write
Thank you.
something.
Yeah. Peace.
Yeet.
All right.
Yeet.
Yeah.
Word. That was fun. I had a fun time writing this one.